Hi, I think we're live, and welcome everyone. And this is another streaming session about CLI Builder. And in the last video, in the last streaming, I was trying to do data-oriented programming in TypeScript for the CLI Builder. It doesn't work as well as I expected, and so after that was done, I look at the code again and think, probably the original code is just fine. And so I uncomment the original code, as you may see over here, a bunch of code that's okay, is there, and then just try to go from there. And as for data oriented design or data oriented programming, I find that I might able to do that if I was using type inference. So basically, in the functions, I'm not declaring the return type and relying on type inference. Then I would probably get a better result. But then the in terms of reading, in terms of the type readability for the customer side, it will kind of suffers a bit, right? Because when you look at the resulting type of a particular function, you will get a bunch of pretty complicated thing, like say for example like this, right? So is a trade-off. So I don't know if there's a better way to do that right now in TypeScript. And maybe when I work on my own language, there would be something. Yes, it's something I would put in consideration. But anyway, in this video, what I'm going to do is again, you can see I'm not showing myself on the screen because the bandwidth issue. So I'm going to continue to do that, and then in this videos, I am going to actually work on parsing the arguments, because in the CLI builder, I have been using the Yeoman's, the Y arguments parser, to do that part of the job. Originally, CLI builder was using Minimus, then it found out there's a problem, and then switch over to Yarn parser. And then now, as I'm working on this, there are more problems. And just to let you know, what's happening over here is that I like, because I'm working on TypeScript, and also I like to provide the best user experience to the user. So I want the type, what's to expect, very explicit. So say for example, if in a Boolean option, I want the user to specify if they expecting a single options or it can be multiple options. So if we look at the CLI builder over here, so the argument have this. This is in V6. I already have this multiple properties that you can select for arguments, although the type was not adjusted back then. And then in here right now, I'm adding this in the option, so that for options you can also specify you're expecting multiple. So say for example, your CLI is called my CLI, and then you can say x1, x is 1, x is 2. Then this will you will receive the object of x and 1 and 2, like this, right? So I want this to be explicit. So meaning by the when you declaring creating your CLI, you want to say, hey, I am expecting multiple values. Then if that is the case, then it will return, give an array to you regardless. But the problem I have over here is that the Yarn, why I don't know how to pronounce it, is the Yeoman argument parser. It's do part of that, but but it still automatically convert the values from a single value to an array when when people is applying that for numbers. But for Boolean, it was doing something else. If so, say, meaning, for example, I'm doing this as a false and then a true, instead of getting this false and true, it will actually just take the last element, meaning this, like this, true here. And there's no way for me to configure it otherwise. So I have to do something like this to manually, processing it. And it's just getting more and more complicated. And I have to look about it is a multiple. Then if it is not an array, then I do a conversion. It's a little bit of work, if not too much, but then again, I have to you can see that I have to pass the calling it with the Boolean value and without the Boolean value, because if I'm passing in with a Boolean value, it will always returning this in this case. But if I do not pass the Boolean value, as in this line when I'm calling it, then what I will get is actually like this, false and true. It will do things like this. So this is what I want. Then I have to go into parse the value myself. Then I think, well, if that is the case, maybe it make more sense for me to just go and parse it, because I don't know how complicated it will go. The human argument parser did a lot of things, cover a lot of different use cases, in terms of syntax. Say, for example, it support things like, at least say for minimus, it support things like this. If you do it like that, then you will get this. And then you also support syntax like this, and support syntax like this, and support syntax like this. And this one, it will become, like that. So there are a lot of small use cases, different scenarios, and but for what I need at the moment, I might not need all of them. I can start something simple and then build on top of it, because this is kind of catching my nerve and getting more and more complicated. So anyway, sorry that this is a kind of a long introduction. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so here is the code that we're looking at. Give me a second. So I just passed the first test. It's pretty simple, and I'm going to use the same data structure and grow from there, because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. And so keep it like that. And also because in the past I was already doing that using that syntax in the V6, so I will keep it like that. It makes the migration to the new version a little bit easier. And so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so and what I have here is really just a little state machine, functional style, and I put the result is in actually this result, so that I have extra space, in this object to work with, so that I could put some internal state as I'm process the data. So the first test, the empty test is simple, just the basic result is passed. And the second one is getting the single argument. So on that, to keep it really minimal, then I would just say arguments dot result dot underscore push b, right? That will pass the value. And of course this, then it was saying that, oh, the type is not right, and I can specify the type over here, or I can specify the type over here, either way. So I'm going to do this here this time, and so this is a string array, and record string any, like that. Okay, and let's just keep it like that. Oh, both of them fell. Oh yeah, of course. I have to slice 2, take off the first 2 params. Alright, so now they both pass. Right, so before I get into anything more complicated, just do the simplest thing and expect x, y, z. I would get x, y, z. All right, so that passed. So then the next one is start providing in simple options. So in this functions, I'm just doing passing the single passing argument. You can see I'm not passing in the commands to process it. I can do it, together, but let's focus on one unit at a time, right? And so what I'm going to get, actually, I'm going to change this is to well, actually, let me keep it string array, because the values, I will always put it as a string array. So Boolean option, right? Gets like that, and single Boolean option gets that. So the test would be pass argument in v CLI x, right? Well, let's do the long form first, doing it like this. And in this test, I want to make it more concise, so that's why I'm using the to expect and to equal instead of the assertrons satisfied. So this, I want this to be that. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, it could be not very pretty, but let's just do what we can do. So we start with dash, then but this is actually not the arguments. Let me switch this over. Yes, and that. And if that is the case, then result dot what should I do? let me just do it like that. And then key vehicle. What if people put in free dash? What if people put in free dash? I don't want that. But well, if that's what they put in, you know, I'm not going to argue with it. So I'm going to take that away, and should I do it like this, or should I parse it, or should I further break it down to groups first to make it easier to handle? I think that would be a better idea, because I don't want to deal with this along the way. I can make it a 2-pass. Yeah, let me make it 2 passes. So then and do it like this. Let's see. Yeah. So I will do it like this, then keep it even simpler by saying as alias and then options. Put it like that. Okay, and then let me specify the type over here. You know, I typically don't put it like this. I put it at the end, and in this case, I think it's perfectly fine to do so. There's no other, you know, there's nothing like this. Well, in either way, I actually, you know, for this guy, I can actually still put this whole thing, you know, do it as over here, right? That's also fine. But in this case, you know, I can make it a little bit shorter by saying, you know, stating it like this. And record, it will be a string, and then the values will be always string arrays. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. So let's see how that goes as a record string array. All right, so I'm going to parse it first like this. So if we start, I am break away from TDD at the moment and just implement the code out. Just do the whole thing. So const k equal we slice 2, and then if p dot, this would be option k. So if it's not there, then p dot options k equals to an empty array, and then p dot options k push what I'm going to push, because that's what will be in the next one. So my original thinking in here is I'm keeping track of those in process objects in here. Is I think I will be end up with the same thing. So let me do this. Okay, so start with that. Then I would say yeah, let me do it like this. If result dot current. Oh, I forgot the current. If there is a current, which I'm going to add in over here. Where did I set up the value? Okay. Let me do this. Just keep it as any is fine. If it's current, then I will need to process current. Right. So let me do that. Move current, and then and current. Right. Else, then result current equals to k. Just keep it like that first. Of course, this would not be sufficient, and I don't want to have two different things. So let's check. Do it like this. Current values would be a string array. Okay. So key result values equals to empty. All right, and then have a function called endCurrent, and what it does is move the value that I get and put it in to the actual thing. So return so it turns out I don't need this, and then since now I need to reuse this type, let's make this type pull this out, and as with the way I'm doing it, pass argument v.state. Okay, so do it like that. And actually, let's also export it. Pass argument export type state equals to this. Is it something like that? What did I miss? Oh, that return current values or current values with S. Yes. All right, that saved my butt. So pass argument state. So that's what I want. And then well, I can, because I'm processing it, although this is kind of useless, but I can set this, reset it. And so the question here is that I need to process the argue, put the thing, put this inside to the argument. So the detail of that is to saying that if result arguments I'm lazy to type all those things. So cons equals to result, pull it out, current key, current values, and current key. If it already have that, well, if it does not have that, then result arguments current key equals to that. So actually meaning I don't, I'm not doing that over here, over there, so that's okay, which also makes sense. And then result arguments, I don't want to change the origin result, although it doesn't really matter here, but I want to stay pure. So this is not what I want. This should be state, and then create a copy. I don't really care that much over here in this code, although in other language I would. I really care because I know over here I'm going to get override it anyway. However, it's something that I don't want to do. So yeah, so let's keep it like this. Let's just do it like this. So if it already have it, if it doesn't have it, it will create a new object, new array, and then current create a push, then it will push the current values. But that's not it. That's not sufficient. And actually, let me just get my code a little bit simpler. keep it like that. But then this so I think this is simpler this way. It's a bit wasteful, but we'll see. So do it like this. So the thing is, here, if current values length equals to 0, then I would say the current key would push a true, well, at least the string true to it, else it would push the value down. Okay. So that will do that. This will update it, although it's, you know what I mean, functional programming style. So if not, this is essentially start a new element, right? And then well, the other case will continue that after the test is passed. Let's take a look. Hopefully things will fine. Oh, it's not. Oh. So it will do that, and then at the end I still need to do end curve. It's a bit messy, but let's get the test pass first. Oh. What's my test? My test is saying false? No. True. True. Okay, so the last one's passed, but the other one is I received this true empty string. Why is that? Oh, I need to able to keep this to be undefined. Okay, so if, well, actually not current key. Okay. Up. Can do it like that, and actually this I can keep it at the string because the key wouldn't be an empty string, although you know the user can really mess it up. So what should I do? What should I do? I don't feel, you know, because now when I'm doing this parsing, I will think about, okay, if it's 1 dash, 2 dash, or even 3 dash or more dash, you know, what will happen? And you know, the user can do can do this, right, and then do something else, and typically it means that that's pipe the commands to another function, and I have to able to exclude that, right? That's why I said at the beginning the human argument parser and also other popular parsing library, you know, do a lot of things, right? It's not as simple. And so as I'm doing this kind of as, you know, as an amusement to myself and as an exercise, I want to keep it real, you know, handles all those cases. And so I really don't want to keep it like this. So what I really wanted to do is that whenever, you know, because right now I'm just passing the arguments. Again, I'm not dealing with the commands or the option yet. I just want to pass it into a universal format, so then I can further pass it down. Because the reason for that is I want to be able to provide as much useful help message to the end user. So if they type in, you know, something weird, like for example something like this, right, I want to have a message to say that, hey, you're doing this is not recognized by the system, and maybe you're doing something wrong, that kind of thing, right? Because of that, I want to preserve the input characteristics as much as possible, and that's why I'm doing this myself, right? So because of that, I'm going to change this a little bit. Originally I was hesitant to do this, but as I'm doing this, it seems to be more clear that I want to do it like this. I want to preserve all these things, right? So then the idea is as long as it is an option, some kind of option, that I will process it as an option. And then I also take a special consideration on this, because I do want the end user able to do that kind of thing, right? So we'll have a test for that. And here I preserve all this from the beginning, and then processing it onwards. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip that and keep it like this. So this take the V, and then else this will push it over. That's fine. If it start with, so take a look at this again. If it start with a dash, then it will do that, and then if there is a current key, it will process the just call it key. Let's just call it key values. And do I really want to do these values? Yeah, it's okay. Let's keep it a little bit smaller. So keep it like that. Keys and values, keys and values. Right. So then it still pass, and it's processing it like this. Then I should be able to capture, you know, all kind of cases. So let's add in more cases. Single Boolean option. argument. Let's just put it out there. Put this in here. Let's remove all this extra space. This space, when I'm working on it, this is kind of a debate because sometimes I like to have some space over here like this, but sometimes I want to keep them together because when the number of tests goes long, reading it like this makes it in my opinion easier to read. So yeah. That's another thing about the styling, is optional. It depends on what I feel like. So for Boolean option, single Boolean option gets blue. And then the other case, I'm thinking about the other case, but this is actually a string options already. So let's say multiple Boolean option. Gets into array. Okay. Although it's not that useful at the moment. This really is more useful when it is a when you're able to specify, right? Meaning there's first false and then true and then true and then false, things like that. Then you are able to tell, right? Able to do something more meaningful. But doing this like this is kind of dumb. But okay, that's fine, because I can get it why Yeoman argument parser do that kind of trade-off, because it's kind of doesn't make sense. But at the same time, when I'm doing this, I don't want to have this kind of special case handling. I want to make it as homogeneous as possible. As homogeneous as possible. So that's why I will keep it like this. So if there's any other case, I need to cover for Boolean. I can do the no thing. But that's for future. But let me how do I spell negate option with that, right? So but not going to do that. That's way down the road after version 7 is released, and then I will entertain this if there's ever such a need. I know it's an interesting thing, and the Yeoman argument parser support that, but I didn't. And also doing this on the outside at the CLI builder level is a bit more complicated, because I didn't set it up, unlike Commander.js, to do a parsing like this, right? And another reason for this is it will require TypeScript 4.1 and do some magics on the string literal type to separate things and combine things and extract properties. So in order to provide a good programming experience, so that's why I will defer this to later. And well, single Boolean short option. Right. So over here, based on the implementation, you can see that I don't differentiate them at all now at this stage. Right. So this would just work, right? Which is a good thing. All right. And then doing the alias or other way, short option or long option, or whatever it is the responsibility at the higher level when they deal with the actual commands. I'm not going to do it here. Okay, so that's fine. So yeah, I don't. It will stop actually calling it as Boolean because there's no parsing at this stage. Option without value. Right. Single option, multiple options. Multiple. I just say. Option, a good option. Okay. So option with where value with S, without S, with that. Because this is more interesting. Single option. ABC A. And this I'm expecting to get A. Let's call it X. Of course, this will fail. Right. So, but the fix is very simple. So if result.key, so there is some key going on. Right, if there's some key, some option key going on, that's what it really means. Then result.values.push B. That will make that pass, I believe. All right, so single option, and then well, it's 50 minutes already. Single option with yeah, let's say with single value with multiple values X or Y. This will get X and Y. That should still just pass. And with let's say single value, right? Let's separate the two cases, but I'm going to copy them with multiple option with multiple values, and ABC PR, right? X Y P R. What I will get with a single value, no, CY, I will get that. All right, that works. So then let's get the slightly more complicated case. The other case, also a very common one, is single option with single with equal syntax. Well, we'll see how it goes. This got to wrap around a little bit. Functional programming. Oh, I want to abstract it. Damn it! This is getting long. This bugs me. This bugs me because when the thing is now, as I'm look more into functional programming, other language, and abstraction, and doing Lua and Rust, and Lisp, I start to understand more and more about how Lisp works, and it completely makes sense because it's about abstraction. Because if you strip everything down, forget about the syntax, about things, what you really cares are data, and that's why if so, for example, on this, I don't really need all those crud. I just need to do something like this is what I cares about. Of course, not this run function. So the question is the run, and what this function, how should I name this function, right? Because that is a unit, as if I'm abstracting everything out, right? That is the purest form. You can think it like this. This is a list. Right? That's all it cares. And you put in that run function over here, then it's a Lisp program, right? And so that's why functional programming, either Lisp, Clojure, or any those functional programming, that's why they are compact, right? Because they cut all the crap out of your program. And but at the same time, when you abstract too much, sometimes it make it hard to understand the code. Although it's very efficient to writing the code, but for readability, how to make it easily readable. So that's the balance. Well, for me, I need to think about. So over here, because this is getting long, and as you can see, this, I am wasting that many characters, that many space. Right? But of course, well, if I have a long name over here, then it's kind of meaningless. So the easiest is something like this. And then has pass, and the input is a string, expected is the result of this guy, right? The result of this guy, which is this guy, which is this argument, which is this thing, which is just call it, let's call it result. There's an error over here. Oh, pass. So let me export. Yeah, now this function. Doing that, and then over here is just this, and put input and equals to expected. All right, and I don't even need this, right? So let's just take that away. Do it like this. So I'm gonna change this. Copy and paste. Okay. Copy and paste. This is a little bit special, so I'm paying a little bit more attention to that one. But for the rest, you know, get the hell away from me. All right, like that. Much nicer. And I can even make this a one-liner. But you know, I know this is kind of pushing it a little bit, because you normally won't write text this way, as you typically have multiple lines, you know. But well, why not? Why not? Although, you know, does this look good? No, not really. And another thing is, if I do it like this, you know, you can see the whole thing. It may be a good thing or maybe not, but let's keep it like this. You know, do a little bit, keep it as conventional. All right, so with that, then here I can say test parse single option, right? A, B, C equals to X, and that I expect to be equal to this. Of course, when I run, this will fail. Oh, two fail. Two failure. Did I miss something? So which one fell? Empty fell. Why empty fell? Empty. I received a empty. Because I have that space over there. Because I have that space over there. Well, so and anyone can put a space in. Yeah, I haven't tested that with values with space, right? I haven't tested that, so that's a good case. That is a good case. So what am I going to do here? Is yeah, to keep it a little bit more pure, this extra bit, although it makes the code, the test a little bit more closer, smaller, but at the same time it's a little bit less concise. So let me keep that back, put that back over here. So now there should be only one test fail. Oh, still two. The empty still fail. Oh, precisely because of that. There you go. And is on the hour. So actually, let's take a break, and then we will be back and continue working on this. So let's take a look at what we have. So it's actually turns out to be not that bad, right? We still have some case to go over, but doing this myself allows me to have a much better control, and I can, I can already see I will able to provide a much better user experience to the end user, because I have more control over this. I can provide more meaningful message to the end user, and so that's a good thing. I think I am doing the right thing, and the code is not that complicated. Of course, this end current thing is a bit messy. This code is still a bit messy, but once I get the basic case in, then I'll do a refactoring. Right now, this is not as good, but also not as bad. Essentially, this is the the option handling. This is in the process, and then this is start the handling, right? So I can do some abstraction on that and make it much more organized down the road. And at the same time, kind of against TDD a little bit, because I'm not doing the red green refactoring cycle on each test, because I know as the code goes, as I add more tests, there are more cases I need to handle, and I feel like I want to do a better, because do the refactoring when I have more tests, and so that will shape. Give me a better idea on the shape of the overall program. Because we're dealing with a small scope here, right? So everything are still confined to a limited space, and that's why I am choosing to do it this way. Because if you're doing a higher level TDD, meaning integration tests and doing mock and have other dependencies, then deferring this refactoring steps might not be a good thing. But over here, because I'm dealing with the very bare bone small scope stuff, so to me, I feel like it's okay to keep it this way and do the refactoring later on. Alright, anyway, so that's the end of this stream. Hope you enjoyed this and hope you learned something. And we will see you in a bit after we've taking a break. Right, thank you. Bye bye.